Well, I think uh, my product, my interest in race and education is in large part informed by my own biography, or autobiography, I guess, as a person of color, a woman of color, who all of my education was in public schools, and I was a public school teacher. I've raised two African American men who went to school and who were educated in public schools, and so. Um, Again, largely through personal experience as a student and teacher and a parent, I've been interested and was fortunate that as I furthered my education in graduate school, learned that there actually was a kind of body of scholarly literature that wanted to make sense of um, disparities and inequalities that I had experienced and had observed, but didn't have a language for.
Mm.
And I wasn't aware that people actually um, thought about these things and tried to understand again disparities and inequities. Disparities because we are, underrepresented in certain areas of education, but also the experiences and that. Um, I grew up like many people, learning that you just work harder and you put in the effort, and then you will reap the benefits. And often, I felt that my hard work and my efforts didn't yield particular benefits. That my particular work and effort weren't recognized as hard work and effort, and that my contributions weren't recognized. That my gifts weren't often recognized. Um, I had a different kind of education at home. My father actually was an attorney and was a history buff, and we had a large library that I didn't see in my school, right? So conversations that I had at home, um, and experiences that my dad shared relative to kind of trying to represent. Um, he would always say there are, blue collar, white collar, and no collar people, and his clients often were people who had no collars,
Mm.
and that there wasn't an apparatus that supported them. Often they were victims of a criminal justice system, just in large part because they were poor and black, and so. That wasn't an official part of my curriculum. And so it was refreshing for me to find. I went to graduate school in Wisconsin and worked with Gloria Ladson Billings, and to study with a scholar who really helped to forge the field that I'm in, culturally relevant pedagogy and critical race theory. That there were folks who were thinking about this. Certainly, she wasn't the first to think about race, but it was a language, it was a perspective that was refreshing and expansive for me, and that it was something that I could take on as a profession.